Right. So, what in the hell is this? I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not playing God of War today. If you're new to the channel, if you came in from a host, thank you again for all of the hosts, by the way. If you're coming in from another host, if you're coming in to see me play God of War, that's tomorrow. Today we're setting the stage for God of War. Today I'm going to be talking at you guys for a while, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of background on what the hell is going on in this game that you will see starting tomorrow. I'm not going to spoil the game itself, but I am going to endeavor to provide context for the greater story. I am the Shop-eyed Kitsune, the teller of tales and the weaver of mysteries, the masked bard. This is a channel devoted to lore and storytelling, world-building, role-playing, and discussions of those things. So in order for me to put on the best show that I can, for you guys to understand the story as best as you are able, I will occasionally do a setting the stage to allow people to understand what's happening. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I thought this was a reboot. I thought the new God of War was a complete reset of the setting. No, it is a direct continuation of the original games. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to provide the story of the original games, but I'm going to be focusing on the main three titles because I haven't played the PSP games. So,
Oh, well, I have.
JourneymanVadr, welcome on into the cast. My assistant for today, for setting the stage for God of War, JourneymanVadr is a fantastic streamer and a large help to the community. Vader, how are you doing today?
I'm doing spiffy.
That's fantastic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of hours, talk about the first three games, maybe not even a couple of hours, and then Vader has to go to work. I will be spending more of the cast talking about Norse mythology because we have a couple thousand years of oral history to go over, and then at the end of the stream, when we're done talking about God of War, I'm going to basically switch over to do a fireside chat and talk to you guys about stuff that I have coming for the channel. So there's going to be a lot of talking today. So settle in, get your notebook, get ready for a lot of information being dumped at you because that's what setting the stage is all about. So, without any further ado, let's jump into this, Vader. So,
Alrighty.
the dude standing in the boat is Kratos of Sparta. Is his last name ever mentioned?
I do not think so.
So his name is Kratos, and he is also known as the Ghost of Sparta. We'll get to
Mhm.
why he's called the Ghost of Sparta in just a minute. But the dude that you're looking at right now needs a bit of a introduction. So that dude is actually this dude, and this dude is actually. Hang on. This is not an image I can use. Shit. One second. Technical difficulties. I had an image and I just realized that I can't save it. So give me just a second. Oh, come on. This will do. Yeah, that'll work. And the dude on the screen right now used to be this dude. So this is Kratos of Sparta. Kratos used to be a captain on the. Go ahead.
Something like that. Something like that. He was definitely, he definitely held a position of command.
Yes, he was a young commander in the Spartan army. Those of you who don't know anything about Greek history, Sparta was a very warlike city state. Think Roman legion, but it was all that they were. Like their claim to fame is super warlike. And Kratos was fast tracked to be a general. Like he was in command at a very young age. He was a fucking badass. Like he was strong from the get go. And what unfortunately happened was he got beat. There was a dude. I don't think the dude is ever named. Vader, correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe he's just called the Barbarian General.
The Barbarian General. He beat Kratos. He fucking wrecked him. And as Kratos was about to die, where's the picture that I saved? Oh my god. Where is it?
Barbarian King.
Barbarian
My
King.
bad.
Thank you. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. His name is Ulrich.
Ulrich. Thank you. As
Alrik.
That's a huge picture. As he was about to lose and get got by the Barbarian General, he called out to Ares, the god of war.
Yes.
And my OBS is really not behaving today. I am really sorry. Do it again. Okay. Fix it. I'm a professional, guys. Don't worry. So, when Ares was called upon, Ares appeared in a cloud of fire. This is a literal god of war. Ares appeared, and Kratos says, Ares, give me the strength to defeat my enemies, and my soul is yours. So Ares gives Kratos the iconic Blades of Chaos, these twin short swords on these magical chains that are bound to Kratos' wrists. And he goes, right, kill this guy, kill everyone in my name, and become, my champion. And this went on for a while.
Years.
At
the very least.
And more Kratos lost compassion. He lost empathy, not only for his enemies, but for anyone. Until one day, Ares told Kratos, this people on Spartan soil have erected a temple to Athena. Go and burn it. And so Kratos took his men and he went and he just destroyed this village. What he didn't know was that Ares had moved his wife and children divinely into that church. Kratos left his wife and child in the capital of Sparta, and Ares moved them into that church. So Kratos killed his wife and child in bloodlust. And the elder of that village, who was possibly a goddess herself, it's never actually specified who she is, but she's definitely magical, bound the ashes of the wife and child to Kratos' skin, which is why he went from tan to pearl white, so that everyone forever would know that Kratos was, he committed familicide, he killed his family. Now, interestingly, Kratos was immediately regretful. He realized that he killed his wife and child, and he immediately, it broke whatever Ares had on him.
Yes.
But the damage was done. It was late. He was the ghost of Sparta at that point. So, the first game takes place after that, and it's quite a simple story, and I appreciate that. It is literally, I'm the ghost of Sparta, fuck you, Ares, I'm going to kill you. That's the game.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, Kratos begins working with the other Olympian gods, because Ares has kind of gone nuts and is waging a campaign on Greece.
Yeah. On Athens, particularly.
Yes.
And
so,
if I could interject here,
by all means.
I just wanted to note that before God of War 1, there are a couple prequel games.
Oh, is there?
Yes, Ascension and Chains of Olympus are both prequel games.
Really? I did not know that. I thought they were between God of War 1 and God of War 2.
Ghost of Sparta is between 1 and 2, but Ascension and Chains of Olympus both take place before God of War 1.
Okay. Well,
Ascension takes place apparently right after Kratos breaks his oath to Ares and he is imprisoned. I've got a plot synopsis here. This is the only one I haven't played, so.
Go on.
The game begins with Kratos, who's imprisoned, chained, and tormented by the Furies for breaking his blood oath to Ares.
The Furies are basically Harpies, but the Furies are like elite. Like, if the Harpies are trash mobs, because there's a shitload of Harpies, the Furies are basically the boss level Harpies. The Furies can talk. They actually have some magic of their own. They attend the Sisters of Fate, don't they? I believe.
Probably in actual Greek mythology.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
But
I'm
go on.
skimming through this plot synopsis here.
Sure.
It seems like it's mainly just him escaping from this imprisonment for breaking his oath to Ares and then making an oath to the other gods to help them.
Yes.
And Chains of Olympus is part of his beginning, his service to the other gods.
Most specifically, and that actually segues nicely.
Most specifically, Athena.
Yes, most specifically, if it'll drop into my OBS, come on. Is work? Is not work. Okay. Most specifically, Athena. Yeah. Athena is sort of like Kratos' mother figure, sort of like Kratos' lover figure in the early God of War games. We're going to be talking about Athena a lot. For those of you who don't know, in actual Greek mythology, Athena is Ares' sister. She is the goddess of wisdom and warfare, whereas Ares is the god of warfare and destruction. She is seen as more focused on the arts. The muses kind of hang out with Athena, but Athena is mostly known for like protection and strength and leadership and things like that. So it makes good sense that she is the counterpoint to Ares in the early games. Athena is she's with Kratos throughout all of the games, including the new God of War, but we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. And so are we ready to jump to God of War 1 then?
Did you want to talk about Chains of Olympus as well?
Go ahead. I don't know anything about it.
It's a prequel to 1. The most important thing is that it's just while Kratos is in the servitude to the other gods, mainly Athena, he has to deal with a Persephone who is trying to use the Titan Atlas to destroy Mount Olympus.
Persephone is
Hades' wife.
That's what I thought. She's the daughter of Demeter and Hades' wife.
Yes.
She's the one who causes winter and autumn. Go on.
And yeah, so he kills Persephone and chains Atlas to the other side of the world to hold it up.
Yes.
That's
he basically chains Atlas in North America.
Yeah. That's the main thing that you need to know about Chains of Olympus. I don't remember anything else incredibly important about it. It's just that he kills Persephone and Hades holds a grudge on him for that later.
Which will come up in God of War 3. For right now, for what this does show is that Kratos is already capable of superhuman feats. So,
yes.
Mostly Athena, but also most of the major gods, call on Kratos and say Ares is attacking Greece and he should be focusing his attention on our enemies. Like you're a hammer, Hades is a nail, or sorry, Ares is a nail. Go kill him.
Yeah.
And so the first God of War game is Kratos having to deal with several mythological hazards while trying to figure out how to kill a god. And the only mortal who knows is the Oracle of Delphi. So Kratos goes to the Oracle of Delphi, and she says, you need Pandora's box. You need the power within Pandora's box. Now, if you know mythology, that doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, but interestingly, the games touch on that later, and we'll be talking about that later. But Pandora's box is located on the Temple of Pandora, which is on the back of the Titan Kronos, which is Zeus's father, chained in what is effectively the Sahara Desert, cursed to wander for eternity until the sand kills him. He's a Titan, so that's gonna fucking take a while. So you go to the desert, you climb up Kronos' back. You go into the temple, you defeat the temple's like traps and challenges to prove yourself worthy. You take the Pandora's box, which is this huge gold chest that literally takes Kratos 3 years to drag back to Athens. It actually says that in the game. Or is it 10 years?
He doesn't drag it back, actually.
Yes, he does.
No. When you get the box in the game, Ares knows what you've done, and he throws a goddamn pole through Kratos.
Yes, and
sends 50 miles.
And sends him to the underworld. But when he comes back, he has to drag the box.
Ares has the box when he comes back.
Then where's the 10-year time skip? Is that
probably between 1 and 2?
Okay, then I'm a dingus. I'm listening to Vader on that one. So
yeah.
So Kratos gets the spear, or the spear. Wow, gets the box, starts dragging it back to Athens, because even though he just chained up Atlas, he can't lift this thing. Like, that's how big this box is. Ares picks up a spear, hucks it across Greece, across the Mediterranean Sea, into the desert, into the air quote desert. We don't know what desert it is. I'm assuming it's the Sahara.
It's a spear to Ares. It's a pillar to Kratos.
Yes. We should mention that Kratos is about 6'10". Like, he's a big dude. But Ares is like a kaiju. So, keep that in mind. So this huge, like, pillar smashes into Kratos, smashes him into the wall of the Temple of Pandora, and kills him. GG, game over. Except, Athena is like, nah, bitch. Or no, it's Hades. It's straight up Hades, isn't it?
It's the mysterious gravedigger that helps him out of the underworld.
Right.
A person who's never named, but is set most likely in the service to the gods.
Yes.
Probably Athena.
Okay. So this dude known as the Gravedigger helps Kratos get out of Hades. That is the place, not the person. And there's a whole like series of traps and levels of him getting out. But eventually he gets out, and Ares has the box. And Athena is like, get the box from Ares, take its power, kill Ares. And Kratos is like, bitch, I already died for you. And Athena is like, do you want the nightmares of killing your wife and child to go away? Kill Ares. So.
They never, like, this is the whole reason Kratos is doing this, by the way, is because he's been haunted by nightmares of killing his wife and child.
Yes.
So when he returns to Athens and he finds Ares holding the box, I mean, Kratos still fucking hates Ares for what he did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he kills him. He
opens the box, he turns into a kaiju himself, and he fights Ares, you know, deus-y deus.
Mm-hmm.
And
also leads to one of my favorite lines. At the very end, Ares says, I only wanted to make you a great warrior. And Kratos says, you succeeded.
Yeah. It's really
pretty great.
So Kratos kills Ares, and needless to say, he killed a god, so there's a power vacuum. Like everything that Ares like stewarded, everything that Ares monitored, he still did, even though he was a kaiju attacking Athens. So like everything that he was dealing with, every spell he was concentrating on, so to say, uh, then just ramped up. And, Kratos calls on Athena and he says, I've done what you asked, now free me from my torment. And Athena goes, well, A, we can't do that. Get fucked. And then, so she basically does. She basically says, you actually did all of this for free, we're not gonna help you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
Something
way, if you want to be the god of war, there's a seat available.
they honestly, like, well, before that, like, after Athena says, no, we are not going to take away these visions, we cannot forget the sins you have committed, Kratos attempts suicide.
Yes, Kratos just jumps off a cliff. Um,
And then is magicked back up by Athena and said, no, you gotta be the god of war now.
Well, no, she says you can be the god of war. And Kratos is like, I. Now, interestingly, they retconned this. At the end of the first game, it shows Kratos overseeing everything from ancient Greece to, like, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like, everything.
Yeah.
But the second and third games and everything else takes place still in ancient Greece. So that's not a thing.
Yeah, that ending was effectively retconned, though.
It was cool.
Yeah.
So Kratos becomes the new god of war, and sometime later, we don't know exactly how long. Who is attacking Rhodes?
Kratos is.
Why is Kratos attacking Rhodes? Is that ever defined?
Kratos uses his position as the god of war essentially as an escape from his nightmares, attacking cities. Using the warriors of Sparta to attack cities.
Doing what Ares did, basically.
Yeah. He's using it as an escape from his nightmares that still haunt him.
Yeah, because he can't get rid of the fact that he killed his wife and child. Which, I mean, how could you, right? Like, it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like this. Giganti says, if you want to be the god of war, one of the mightiest beings ever to do battle with anything ever... Yes, but as shown in the new game, that's not all there is to it. But we'll get to that. So, God of War 2 starts in the city of Rhodes. You guys may have heard of the Colossus of Rhodes, that city. And Kratos and Sparta have assaulted Rhodes and are winning. They are destroying Rhodes, and whatever divine magic is using the Colossus of Rhodes as the protector of Rhodes activates, and this big fucking... I believe it was... The Colossus of Rhodes is literally a harbor-spanning statue. Like, it used to be all traffic in and out of the island of Rhodes went between the legs of this huge bronze statue. It's not there anymore. Right. It's been destroyed. What's up?
Quick interjection. Did we want to talk more about Ghost of Sparta before 2, since it takes place in between 1 and 2?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that's my bad. Alright, so the events are set between God of War 1 and 2. Essentially, the plot is a series of flashbacks reveals that an oracle had foretold that the demise of Olympus would come not by the revenge of the Titans, who had been imprisoned after the Great War, but by a marked warrior. And the Olympians, Zeus and Ares, believe this to be Deimos, who is Kratos' brother,
yes,
due to his strange birthmarks. And during their childhood, Ares essentially kidnaps Deimos, and Kratos couldn't stop him. And he got scarred across his right eye, which you can see in the picture on stream.
Mm-hmm. So...
And after this, Kratos... I lost where it was. Alright, in honor of his sibling, Kratos marks himself with a red tattoo identical to his brother's birthmark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and essentially the game is, and then the rest of the game is between 1 and 2. Kratos decides against Athena's advice to explore space and travels to the Temple of Poseidon. He meets his mother, Callisto, who attempts to reveal the identity of his father, but fails when she transforms into a werewolf.
Yes.
And Kratos is forced to kill her. And before she dies, she tells him to seek out his brother, which is a good other majority of the game. He also apparently goes up against Thanatos during this game.
Cool. So now he is
the god of death.
He is the god of war at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So the god of war, mother's a werewolf, brother is Deimos. But the ultimate point is he doesn't know who his father is, and he's still haunted by these visions, except now, instead of just being a psychopath, because let's face it, he is a divine psychopath, which means it's a lot harder to rein him in.
Yeah.
Bit of a misstep, that, Athena.
That's where God of War 2 comes in, as
he's attacking Rhodes.
Yes, and some divine power animates the Colossus.
Yes. And so Kratos is fighting his way through Rhodes, and the Colossus is beating him, shockingly.
Oh, and also, someone also saps a lot of his godly powers away from him at the very beginning of the game.
Yes.
Or at least shrinks him, because he was Ares size when he was attacking Rhodes.
It shrinks him. It doesn't take much of his power away yet. But due to the size difference, the Colossus of Rhodes is actually messing him up.
It's a bit of a stalemate, honestly.
It's a bit of a stalemate. At one point, Kratos gets inside the Colossus and starts mangling the clockwork stuff. But
that is after his little talk with Zeus, who offers him the Blade of Olympus.
Oh, I thought that was before. Because when Kratos gets the Blade of Olympus, everything goes tits up.
He gets the Blade of Olympus, then goes inside the Colossus and wrecks it up, and then comes out and gets fucked.
Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves. So it's a stalemate. Zeus from on high calls to Kratos and says, "Hey, bitch, do you need help? Because it seems like you need help." And Kratos is like, I can't beat this thing. I can't. This guy is too much for me. And
more like Kratos. I mean, it's Kratos. He says, "I don't need your help."
Yes, but it's real that he's getting messed up. So Zeus throws it's this really cool scene where literally from on high, this beam of light comes down from the sky, and then this sword just descends to Earth, and it's really cool.
Gamzee makes a good point about Ghost of Sparta. Ares took Deimos to the realm of Thanatos, where mortals cannot normally enter.
Okay. Cool. Hello, Zosha.
But continue.
And Kratos picks up the sword and is basically like, what am I supposed to do with what am I supposed to do with this? And Zeus says, channel your power into the sword, channel your godhood into the sword, and make it strong enough to defeat the Colossus. And so Kratos does. And his your health bar and your magic bar and all the stuff on the screen reduce as Kratos does this. And then with the big glowing sword full of his godhood, he charges into the Colossus of Rhodes and just trashes the mechanism. It's a really cool scene. But then he trips or something.
He hops out. He starts boasting to the sky, saying, "Yes, I'm the god of war. You can't stop me." And the hand of the Colossus falls on him.
Yeah, but ultimate point, he is separated from the sword.
And with all his godhood drained into the sword, he is now mortal.
He is now fucked. This asshole, who you can see in the bottom of the screen, shows up in a cloud of thunder and smoke, and he's Zeus. Zeus rolls up, he picks up the sword, and he says something really cryptic, like, "You're not going to kill me," or something like that. And they have
the cycle ends.
Yeah, the cycle ends. And Kratos, like, struggles, but he can't stop, like, he can't overpower Zeus, because Zeus has Zeus powers, and Kratos' powers, and Kratos doesn't have any of that. So Zeus just...
And he is fucked right now. Like, he is horribly injured.
Yeah. So Zeus takes the big-ass sword and just stabs Kratos through the chest with it. And Kratos dies. Again.
And Zeus also annihilates the armies of Sparta while he's at it.
Yeah, Zeus just unloads on the armies of Sparta. And on the way to Hades, again, Kratos is stopped again, and this time a different voice, not Athena, says, it's not
time for you to die. You still have work to do.
You still have work to do. We can help you. And Kratos is teleported out of Hades again, and he winds up on an island, basically.
No,
Right?
First, no. How it goes is he has a vision of the Titan Gaia.
Oh, okay, I thought it was he was teleported to Gaia.
No.
My bad. So he has a vision of the Titan Gaia. If you don't know who Gaia is the representation of Earth. Gaia is, like, Mother Earth. Like, if you ever heard Mother Earth, that's Gaia. She is everything that is...
She is the mother, like, great-grandmother to all the gods.
More than that. Like, yes, that's true. But more than that, she is every tree. She is every blade of grass. She is every animal. She is every fruit. She is Mother Earth. She's the archdruid of archdruids. And she tells Kratos the time for vengeance is now, basically.
Yeah. He tells him to seek out the Sisters of Fate to restore his godly powers and confront Zeus.
Yes. And so the storyline of God of War 2 is traveling through other, like, mythological parts of Greece, and this time with the Titans' help, as opposed to the gods' help to get, abilities as you go. And ultimately get to the Tapestry of Fate. Now, this is something that we haven't really made clear up until this point. Kratos, throughout 5 games at this point, he solves problems, he solves puzzles one way. Kill whatever's in front of me. There is no diplomaticness. Like, some people try to be diplomatic with Kratos, and he just fucking kills them. Like, at this point, Kratos' body count is ridiculous. And I'm not talking about mooks. I'm talking about legitimate, like, plot-based characters. Kratos just killed everyone.
Let's see. Ares, the Furies, Persephone, his mother, Deimos, Thanatos,
the Colossus of Rhodes, everyone in Rhodes, most of Athens,
giant undead Minotaur,
Persephone,
the Hydra,
the legendary Hydra. Doesn't he kill Charybdis at some point?
Remind me who that is.
The Whirlpool, the living Whirlpool.
I don't remember anything about that. No.
Okay. So
that might be in another game, though. Let me check something real quick.
So, like, the God of War game...
Oh, yeah, he kills Scylla as well.
Scylla, that was it. The God of War games are... It's not Zelda. You don't solve problems with your head. You literally just smash through any problem in front of you. Kratos doesn't give a damn. Kratos is single-mindedly focused on whatever he needs to do. Either A, killing Ares, or B, in this case, getting your godhood back in 2. That's in 3, Gamzee. We'll get to there. Don't jump ahead, please.
Yeah.
So he goes to Thebes. He goes to Thebes, doesn't he?
He goes, he climbs out of Hades back into Rhodes.
Yes.
And he someone, it's never really explained who, sends him a Pegasus to help him get to the isle where the Sisters of Fate are.
Yes. And again, he kills everyone, including the Pegasus, by the way. And he gets to the island of the Sisters, or the island before the island of the Sisters. He gets to the fucking chariot first.
Oh yeah, he gets to the Pegasus, and he's stopped on the way by the Titan Typhon.
Yes. If you guys are familiar with the large windstorm / hurricane called a typhoon, that is a bastardization of the name Typhon. Typhon is the Titan of wind.
There is also he meets Prometheus.
Yes.
Prometheus,
who is, the Titan of the Forge and Fire and humanity, or specifically mankind. He gives fire to mortals, and he is punished for his transgressions by the gods of Olympus for giving fire and knowledge to the mortals, by having an eagle eat out his liver every day, and then it grows back during the night. So that's a really shitty way to live. So you're meeting Titans in this game, and once again, Kratos is killing everyone in his way. He kills Typhon. He kills Prometheus.
I don't think he doesn't kill Typhon, but he does
maims the
stab
fuck
him
out. Yeah.
Yeah, stabs him in the eye and takes a magical bow in his eye.
Yeah.
Then he goes on to kill Prometheus by sending him into the fire, which he gave to the humans.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, Prometheus asks him to do that. But still, Kratos' body count is ridiculous. So, you get information from Prometheus to get to this island that will take you ultimately to the Sisters of Fate.
The Island of Creation is what it's called.
One thing leads to another, and you're solving puzzles and traversing the level, and the ultimate point is you get the Golden Fleece at the end of that, which takes you to the Sisters of Fate, I believe.
Golden Fleece is one of the items that you get that allows you to get to the Sisters of Fate. There's a few
The Golden
items.
Fleece being the item that Jason and the Argonauts looked for. Jason and the Argonauts is basically the Greek version of Firefly.
Along the way to finding the Sisters of Fate, he meets Theseus.
Theseus, who he kills.
Yeah, he was guarding the Steeds of Time, which were a gift to the Sisters of Fate from Kronos in an attempt to change his own fate.
Theseus is, a lot of people know Heracles, but really Theseus is a bigger badass.
Yeah. He also, on the island itself, meets an undead version of the Barbarian King.
Yep.
The Gorgon Uriel, Perseus, and Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus and Daedalus, though the wax wings flew too close to the sun, flew too close to the ocean. Yeah, that guy. Kratos is such an asshole. He sees Icarus. Icarus is this, crazy old man. He's not a threat. He's, gangly, he's, really tiny. And he's,
a lot of these people are also seeking the Sisters of Fate to change their own fates.
To change their own fates, yes. And Icarus is, he's ineffectually thumping at Kratos, and he's, trying to get Kratos to stop, because apparently the Sisters will only entertain one person. And it's just not working. And for, a minute, he's just, wailing on Kratos in a cutscene, and Kratos just, sighs, and then, ignores him, and looks ahead, and he realizes, oh, I can't get across this next section. I need something to help me get across the gap, and he just, looks at Icarus's wings.
And then Icarus actually, jumps on him and drags him off the edge of the cliff.
No, he jumps on him, true, but then Kratos throws him off the cliff and jumps after him, because he wants the wings.
I think they're, No, they're like stuck together. They're beating on each other during this.
Yeah, but Icarus isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like they're like falling literally through the world. They go see Atlas. Oh, Kratos goes see Atlas
Yeah.
after this. They're falling through the world. Kratos rips Icarus's wings off of him, puts them on himself, and then Icarus just keeps falling forever. And Kratos flies over to Atlas like, "Sup." Like, it's probably, in my opinion, the most like Kratos, you asshole moment of the entire series. Like it's bad.
Yeah. Like, there is no denying that Kratos is an asshole.
Oh yeah, no, Kratos is a huge asshole. Which is actually extremely relevant to the new God of War, which we'll be talking about in a minute. And so you fly down to Atlas, and Atlas
Originally tries to kill Kratos for imprisoning him in Chains of Olympus.
yes, because he got tricked by Persephone, and then Kratos got tricked by Athena, and Ares. Kratos says,
He's
like,
working for Gaia now.
yeah, like, give me a minute, bro. Like, I don't want to fight you. I don't have my god powers. Like, let me talk, and you'll see that I'm not working for Athena anymore.
During this time, Atlas has Kratos between his finger and thumb.
Yes.
It's
Good.
it's like he's like just trying to squish Kratos like a grape.
And so, eventually, Atlas relents and lets Kratos go back up to the Isle of Creation.
Well, after giving him a history lesson on the Great War.
While giving him his lesson in the Great War. Do you want to go over that?
Essentially, after... This has to do with Kronos, Kronos' actual mythology of how he went to the Oracle, and the Oracle told him that one of his own children would usurp his throne.
Mind you, Kronos was the king of the gods before there were gods.
Yeah, he was, he was the king of the Titans, essentially.
Yes.
And so, Kronos, instead of being smart and just not having kids, decides, every kid I'm going to have, I'm just going to eat it.
Yep.
Eventually, his wife wises up to this, and instead of giving her last kid, Zeus, to him, she instead feeds him a rock, and Zeus is spirited away to be raised by Gaia.
Yes. And the whole time, Zeus is, like, super vengeful.
Yeah. And eventually, he frees the other gods from Kronos' stomach, and then they wage a war on the Titans.
And this is the part that I don't understand. Like, this rings true in Greek mythology. I'm not disputing that. But the story goes, Zeus, who was raised by Gaia in secret, is so mad at Kronos that he takes it out on all of the Titans, including Gaia. That's the part that I don't get.
Gaia doesn't expect this, to be fair. Like, she had no idea he'd be this vengeful.
No one did.
Yeah.
But that's the shit, right? Like, Zeus, like, I can understand, and I think we can all understand, Zeus has it out for Kronos. So he gets his siblings out of Kronos' stomach, and they go super friends, they go Avengers all over Kronos' face. Which is reasonable. And then Zeus goes, right, now for the rest of them. And Gaia's like, wait, what? Like, motherfucker, I just raised your ass for, like, millennia. What the fuck are you doing? And Zeus is like, I'm racist and you're a Titan. Get fucked.
Essentially.
Like, I'm not making that up. Like, that's true in Greek mythology, and that's true in this game.
Yeah. And during this war is when Zeus forges the Blade of Olympus from the powers of the heavens and the earth.
Yes. Which is the weapon that he used to take Kratos' godhood. Again.
Yeah. Essentially, he uses it to banish every single one of the Titans to Tartarus.
So, Atlas is like, so that's the situation, Kratos. And Kratos is like, right, I don't give a shit about that. Zeus has my sword. So I'm gonna go kill Zeus. It just happens to be that we have the same ends. And what's terrifying is that echoes in God of War 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, him saying that echoes in God of War 3, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
So, Kratos leaves wherever the fuck Atlas is.
Atlas essentially gives him a lift back up to the Temple of the Fates.
Yes. And going through more puzzles and challenges and whatever, Kratos eventually gets to the Sisters of Fate.
It should be said, Kratos is trying to travel back in time to right before Zeus killed him.
He doesn't know that yet.
That's what the goal he had that Gaia told him to do.
Oh, is it? I thought he didn't know
Yeah.
about the time travel thing until he was in the Tapestry Chamber.
No. I mean, the Sisters of Fate could send him back in time too, but...
Yes, but it's Kratos.
Yeah.
It's Kratos, and Kratos only does one thing. So...
And the Fates are loyal to Zeus.
Yeah, the Fates are loyal to Zeus. And so Kratos, like, comes into the Tapestry Chamber. They don't have a conversation. There is no, like... Hey, I need to go back in time. Hey, I want to entreat the Sisters of Fate. Kratos just goes, yeah, fuck you, I'm taking your tapestry. And
More like,
go ahead.
they just go, no, we're not going to help you, we're going to kill you. And...
that doesn't work well for them.
yeah.
So Kratos kills the Sisters of Fate, as you do, and stops fate from being written. Which, yay for free will, but B, like, Kratos doesn't give a shit about long-term plans. Kratos is just like, you're in my way, I kill you. I don't give a shit that now fate doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, he then uses the Tapestry of Fate to travel back to when Zeus stabs him. We see wounded Kratos on the ground. We see Zeus standing over him with the sword. We see other Kratos, now Titan-empowered Kratos, appear behind Zeus. He, like, taps him on the shoulder and socks him in the face. He doesn't actually do that, but it's basically what he does.
Yep.
Zeus is like, what the fuck? Kratos takes the sword.
They have this big-ass battle.
They have this big-ass battle on an arena in the sky specifically made for Zeus. Like, Zeus magics up this arena in the sky, complete with, like, ritualistic markings on the ground, to fight Kratos. What he doesn't tell Kratos is Kratos is in the arena, Zeus is floating in the sky as a kaiju. So, you know, Zeus doesn't fight fair because he's a dick. But Kratos beats him anyway, and he goes to stab him and kill him, and enter Athena.
Athena jumps in between them.
Athena jumps in between them and gets stabbed through the chest by Kratos. Now remember, out of everyone that we have seen in 5 games at this point, Athena is the only one who was reasonable with Kratos. Like,
yes.
Like, you think Lo Wang is an asshole that nobody respects. Like, no. Like, Lo Wang is at least funny. Everyone else just shuts down Kratos immediately, except Athena. So Athena just, like, jumps right in, and Kratos stabs her through the chest, and she's dying, and Kratos, to his credit, to the credit of the writing of this game, which is in places god-awful, let's be real.
Yeah.
Kratos immediately is like, oh god, not again. And he, like, staggers back and, like, puts his hand to his face. He's horrified. Because, like, and the only time we've ever seen this reaction from him was when he killed his wife and child. Like, it's that same thing. So we know at that point he loved Athena. We don't know what type of love it was, but we know he loved Athena at that point.
Yeah.
And so Athena, like, is dying, and Kratos is like, why in the fuck did you do that? And Athena is like, Olympus needs Zeus. And Kratos is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Athena goes, you'll understand in time. And so
it's at this point where she also reveals Zeus to be Kratos' father.
Yes. So Kratos was a god the whole time.
A demigod, yes.
A demigod. So Kratos takes the sword from Athena and, like, lays her to rest. Meanwhile, Zeus fucked off, because Zeus got beat by Kratos. Like, Kratos was wailing on him before he went to stab him, so Zeus has to, like, leave and lick his wounds. So Kratos, like, puts Athena to rest.
Goes back to the tapestry.
Yes.
And travels further back in time, all the way to the Great War.
And
between the Olympians and the Titans. And what he does, and this is the end of the game, he brings the Titans back with him to the present and starts a march on Mount Olympus.
yes, so it's like,
Which then leads immediately into God of War 3.
which we're not going to talk about how taking them out of the Great War changes things in history. Like we're not going to talk about that. It's just, hey guys, this is not the time to do this. Come with me into the future. That's the time to do this because I'm fucking Kratos. That's why.
And like Kratos even says, Zeus is weak and wounded in my time.
Yeah. Like, to everyone's credit, and I love this about Gaia just goes, yeah, okay, I knew you were coming. And everybody's like, what? and Gaia's like, yeah, no, like, I'm Mother Earth. I'm omnipotent. I knew this was going to happen. Let's fucking go. Like, she's not in any way surprised that this random mortal shows up and is like, come with me to the future. We must save, like, no. Like, she's just like, cool. I was waiting on you. Car's warmed up. Let's go. It's just like, okay, sure. Deus Ex Machina was invented in Greece. Let's do it. So, and then the game ends, and you're just like, okay, motherfucker, God of War 3. So God of War 3 begins that same second.
Yes.
So
Gaia and the other Titans are literally climbing up Mount Olympus with Kratos on her back.
And it's actually really cool, because God of War 2 takes place on the PS2, and God of War 3 takes place on the PS3. So, huge graphical upgrade as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you see...
God of War 3 is also one of the best-looking PS3 games, in my opinion.
It really is. It's gorgeous. So you get this really cool shot of, like, this, like, cloud... chamber. It's supposed to be Mount Olympus, but it looks like the Parthenon sitting in clouds. It's great. And we see, like, Helios and Hermes, and Zeus and Poseidon and Hades, and everybody. And
Zeus is pep-talking the others, saying, I know we've had our differences in the past, but we must unite against this mortal who is trying to kill all of us.
And I half expected Poseidon to go, yeah, but you're the one who got fucked, so you're on your own. But he doesn't,
But here's the thing, Kratos also sunk Atlantis in Ghost of Sparta.
Oh yeah, no, like, I'm not saying that Poseidon doesn't have it out for Kratos, I'm just saying...
Every single one of the gods has a reason to hate Kratos.
True, but what I'm saying is the only reason Zeus is calling this war council was because he got fucked. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So we get the scene of everybody standing on the edge of Olympus looking down as the Titans are climbing up, and Zeus, you know... First of all, the model for Zeus looks amazing. Like, Zeus looks like a badass. He looks like an old dude, but he looks like a badass. Zeus just gives the bro nod, and fucking Helios jumps in his chariot, Hermes runs vertically down the side of the mountain, and then Poseidon just, like, steps out into a column of water, and this huge fight just takes place. All of the Titans are kaiju-sized. All of the gods, to start, are human-sized. So it looks like a superhero battle. It's great. It's awesome. And Kratos is riding on Gaia into battle like she's a bear. It's amazing. And you're basically keeping the mooks of Olympus off of Gaia and out of her heart. And you're stabbing people with the blade of Olympus. And then Poseidon just drops into the sea. Like, he does like a fucking swan dive into the sea, and there's this tense beat of silence, and you know something is about to happen because Poseidon is now touching the water.
Yeah.
Poseidon comes back with... What even is that creature? Like, it's a creature from mythology, but what the fuck is it? It's like a scorpion octopus horse.
One moment.
It's not the mares of whatever, is it?
I am looking this up right now. In the God of War series.
I mean, yes, it is a leviathan, but it's not a big fish. It's a horse scorpion chariot crab thing.
Dives off Mount Olympus right into Epimetheus' chest. The hippocampi.
Hippocampi, thank you.
Hippocampus.
So Poseidon rises out of the water as this waterborne insect horse entity and just starts envenomating the shit out of Gaia. Just like poison stinger, poison stinger, poison stinger, and she gets paralyzed. And she's like, oh god, Kratos, Poseidon's gonna kill me. And Kratos goes, did somebody say justice? And just jumps on jumps on Poseidon. And
There's a
God.
few intense moments in that fight.
Oh yeah, no, but for the sake of the story, like, that sets the theme of God of War 3. The theme of God of War 3 is, are you a god? I'm going to kill you on screen. Get fucked. Like, he kills everyone. He kills Poseidon, he kills Helios, he kills Hades, he kills Hermes. I think the only people that he doesn't kill are Hephaestus and Aphrodite.
He kills Hephaestus, too.
He kills Hephaestus. So the only person he doesn't kill is Aphrodite.
Yeah, he just bangs her.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, Aphrodite asks Kratos. So it's like, okay, interesting. You know, misogyny notwithstanding, like, it's Aphrodite, and she's asking for it. Like, that's...
They apparently, like, there's insinuation that they had, something together while Kratos was the god of war.
Yeah. So, everyone else dies over the course of this game. And the ultimate goal is get to Zeus and fucking kill him. Now, explain to me, because I don't fully understand this. What is Pandora's, like, purpose in all of this?
Pandora is a construct.
Right. But
She
what is her purpose?
She is the key to dousing the flame of Olympus.
Which
is a powerful fire that kills anything it touches, and that was originally supposed to be the guarding place for Pandora's box.
Okay.
But because Pandora is the only key to that, and Hephaestus, who created her, grew fond of her like a child, considering her like his own daughter, and so he lied to Zeus and said the safest place to hide Pandora's box would be on the back of Kronos.
So...
And after Kratos got the Pandora's box in the first game, Zeus realized Hephaestus had fed him a load of shit.
And he took Pandora.
Brutally tortured him, forced him to reveal his knowledge about Pandora, and took her.
And the reason that Kratos is looking for Pandora is because he needs to open the box so that he can kill Zeus.
Yeah.
Because, echoing God of War 2, the Titans lose. Yeah. And Gaia says, you know, I need your power, Kratos. And she just takes all of the Titan blessings that she gave to Kratos away. And echoing what Kratos says to Atlas, she says, you were just means to an end.
How it literally goes is Zeus, at the very beginning of the game, knocks both Kratos and Gaia off the cliff, beats the fuck out of them. And Kratos is desperately trying to hang on to Gaia for dear life, but she goes, you were a means to an end, Kratos. This is our fight, not yours. And she essentially flings him off into Hades again.
Which, he loses his powers again.
In the River Styx.
Yep. So, that sucks. But, yeah, just... Yeah. So he's going through the game, getting the powers again, and he needs Pandora's box to be able to be strong enough to kill Zeus, so he thinks.
Well, Athena told him to do this. By the way, Athena is here again as some sort of ascended ghost being. I still don't know what the fuck Athena's deal is this game, but she reminds me of, like, the Singularity.
Like, she's almost a sci-fi creature at this point.
Yeah.
Because she's talking in the second person. She's referring to herself as we. And she's like, she's not acting like a god. She's not acting like she has emotions anymore. She reminds me of, like, the Watcher from the Marvel Universe. She reminds me of, like, something so removed from what's happening that they're extremely logical and, like, it's weird and it's never explained.
And well, yeah, I don't really get it either, but what is explained is that Athena tells Kratos that inside the box were two things. One being the sins of all men, which in Greek mythology what originally was in the box.
She doesn't tell him what's in the box until the end of the game.
Yeah.
So let's put a pin in that. We'll get there. We will get there.
All right.
So, ultimate point, he has to go and find Pandora's box again, open it, and then use the power inside to kill Zeus. Because that's still single-minded fury. That's what he wants. He wants to kill Zeus. And we find out through the course of the game that Zeus is the one that put Ares up to moving the wife and child into the chapel in that village that Kratos killed. So, like, it's not all Ares' fault, it's all Zeus's fault. So, Zeus is painted to be this horrible person this entire time, and he's Kratos' daddy, so it's that much worse.
Yeah.
So, basically, Kratos is going around killing gods, taking their powers. He takes Helios' head, he takes Hermes' boots, he takes Hades' weapons, he takes... What else does he take?
Takes Hercules' big-ass gauntlets.
He kills Hercules and takes his gauntlets, it's true. Oh, he doesn't kill Hera, does he?
No, he does kill Hera.
He does kill Hera.
He literally slaps her to the ground.
Nice.
And takes her chalice, which is needed to solve a puzzle in the Garden of Hera.
That was it, thank you. And he's just fighting his way through Olympus, causing destruction in his wake. Now, something I want to touch on right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just remembered how he does kill Hera. He just literally snaps her neck.
Yeah. It's really anticlimactic. But then again, like, she's just done. Hera is... I actually love this portrayal of Hera. She's, like, drunk and bored, and she's just like, Olympus is under attack. Again. I just don't care. Bring me more wine. Like, she's like every burned out 50-year-old spinster mother.
She's like trying to save like the life there, but by killing so many gods, Kratos has released this horrible pestilence upon Greece.
Yeah, which is what I was actually about to say. Like,
yeah,
Kratos is killing all of these gods, and they are still governing whatever the fuck they were governing. So, like, he kills Poseidon to save Gaia, and then Greece floods. He kills Helios, and the sun is stuck too close to Athens. He kills...
the sun is blotted out, I believe.
Oh, no. It's there, but it's blotted out.
Yeah.
He kills Hades, and all of the souls go rushing back into the mortal world. Like, it's shitty. And so, like, he gets to Hera, like, close to the end, and Hera's just like, fuck it.
You've ruined everything.
Yeah, like, the world is fucked, fuck you. And Heracles rolls up, and Heracles is like, you were always the favorite. And Kratos is like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, what?
He says, Zeus has no favorites.
Yeah, and Hercules is like, do you know what they put me through? Do you know what I had to do? Fuck you. They just made you the god of war. Like, he hates Kratos.
Yeah.
With good reason. Like, he just fucking hates him. And Kratos is like, I don't have any quarrel with you, Heracles. And Heracles goes, that's too fucking bad, bitch, because I am real pissed at you. And so they fight.
He literally says, I'm going to kill you and take the mantle of God of War.
Yeah. And so Kratos is like, I respect you as a warrior, so I'm gonna fight you reasonably. And which Heracles immediately stomps on that. He goes, right, cool, boys! Like, is Kratos doesn't Kratos just like side eye him when he does that? Like when Heracles calls in his men, doesn't Kratos just kind of roll his eyes like, fucking really? Just for a second.
Remember, but...
Just for a second. And so Kratos kills everyone. He kills all of Heracles' army. He kills Heracles in front of Hera. Hera's like, oh my god, you killed my son. Kratos is like, did you not witness that conversation? You were sitting right there.
Like, he beats the shit out of Heracles.
Yes.
He caves his face in.
He caves in Poseidon's face, too.
He plucks out Poseidon's eyes, if I remember.
No, he kicks him into a rock until his face is face.
Like,
he plucks out Helios's eyes.
No, he literally shoves his thumbs into Poseidon's eyes. I remember that because you press both sticks to do it.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a trope in video games, and I don't understand it. Anyway, so ultimate point, there's this big climactic battle at the end with Kratos and Zeus, and at this point, Kratos has found Pandora. Pandora is like this 14-year-old kid, or she appears to be this 14-year-old kid, and Kratos like gets super attached to her because she's let's call it what she is. She's cute.
Mm-hmm.
She's cute. She's real cute. And B, she stands up to Kratos.
And he's also somewhat projecting his daughter onto her.
She's projecting his daughter, but she also, like, she doesn't just roll over.
Yeah.
Like, which reminds Kratos of his wife, not his daughter.
Yeah.
Because his wife was, like, the only person who would stand up to Kratos.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pandora is, like, this perfect storm of memories. And so, like, they get to the Chamber of the Flame.
Yeah.
And Pandora is
it's explained earlier that he has to sacrifice Pandora in order to douse the flame.
Yes. And he can't do it. He's like, don't, we'll find another way. Which is weird for Kratos, because he's never fucking done anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeus shows up, and he goes, first of all, fuck you, Pandora. I'll be with you in a minute. Grabs Kratos, throws him through a wall, and then they have this superhero fight, which is great. But what's really cool is, over the course of the fight, you see Pandora get up, like, traverse the rubble of the fight, and throw herself into the fire.
Collapsing.
Yeah. And throw herself into the fire.
And Kratos grabs her right before she does that.
Yes.
Like, he's holding on to her for dear life.
Zeus is down again, by the way.
Yeah.
And she says, you have to let go. And then
what happens is Zeus gets back up and says, do not fail her like you failed your wife and child, which essentially throws Kratos into a rage.
Yeah, Kratos just fucking hulks out and beats the shit out of Zeus, but when he comes to, the flame is gone and Pandora is gone.
Yeah. At which point he says, fuck it, I've got nothing else left to lose, and he opens the box.
And it's empty.
It's empty.
So Zeus starts laughing, and throws Kratos outside again, and he says, now we finish this. And Kratos is like, now we do. And Zeus beats the ungodly shit out of him.
They're still fighting strong against each other, and then Gaia shows up.
And
Gaia is pissed at both of them now, because earlier on, Gaia had betrayed Kratos. Kratos betrayed Gaia and knocked her off the cliff.
Yep. So she's just pissed at both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, now mind you, we see outside at this point, Greece looks like Tartarus.
Yeah.
Like, we have seen the underworld a couple of times throughout this series. Greece looks like that. Fucking same skybox and everything. Like, the world is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just these three. It's just Gaia, Zeus, and Kratos at this point. And this big battle takes place, and ultimately, Gaia goes down. Zeus has Kratos on the... No, Kratos has Zeus on the ropes.
Kratos kills Zeus.
Yes, Kratos kills Zeus, and then this, like, spirit comes out of Zeus and is like, get fucked, and starts strangling Kratos.
Yeah.
And Kratos passes out.
It's literally explained that he becomes trapped in his own nightmares by Zeus.
And so what happens is the spirit of Pandora comes into that nightmare and finally gives Kratos peace. He has to reconcile with his family. He has to reconcile with Ares and with his men of Sparta. What?
And Athena.
And then Pandora is explained that she is the spirit of hope. And
yes.
So she helps Kratos make peace with all of his shit. And when Kratos makes peace with all of his shit, he basically gets his godhood back, destroys the spirit of Zeus, and beats the fuck out of his father.
What happens is, I believe, the power that was in Pandora's box had been inside Kratos all along. That's what was explained.
Yes.
That power being hope.
That power being hope. So, but this actually echoes true in the new God of War. I had forgotten about that reconciliation thing.
Mm-hmm.
That actually comes up a couple of times in the new God of War, but I'm not going to talk about that because Vader hasn't played it.
Yeah, but after Kratos kills Zeus, Athena comes back again, and she thought essentially what happened was when Pandora's box was created, Zeus had put all like the sins of mankind into it.
So she put hope in it.
Yeah, in case it was ever opened, someone would be able to stop them. And what happened when Kratos opened it in God of War 1 was all those sins apparently transferred to the gods.
Yes.
Zeus was enveloped in fear.
Mm-hmm. Ares in anger, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And Kratos got hope. So after all of this is over, and Kratos is, like, surveying Tartarus, Greece, like, he fucked the world.
He's like, fuck this. My vengeance ends now. Those are his words.
And he throws down the sword of Olympus.
No, he stabs himself with the sword of Olympus.
Not yet. First he has to have a conversation with Athena.
Yeah, that's what I'm meaning. Like, after his conversation with Athena, he says, no, I'm done with this. I'm not going to work for you or anyone else anymore.
So he stabs himself, and Athena, right before he stabs himself, Athena says, okay, fine, give me your power. The mortals are ready for it now. And my thought is, what mortals at this point, right?
Yeah.
She says the mortals are ready for this power now.
Yeah, we're going to rebuild.
I can lead them. And Kratos says, I'm not doing your work anymore. And he stabs himself and releases hope into the world. And Athena is like, I can govern with that. They can't control it yet. Just don't.
Yeah, they won't know what to do with it.
Right. So, that's the end of the game. Kratos just stabs himself with the Sword of Olympus, bleeds out, and then Athena is, like, angry and, like, shouting and, like, all kinds of stuff.
She takes the Blade of Olympus and fucks off, essentially.
Yeah, and she fucks off. And as Kratos is dying, surveying this fucked world that he created, we know that he drags himself off a cliff into the Aegean Sea.
Yeah, the after-credits scene is literally the cliff where he supposedly died, except it's empty and there's a trail of blood off the cliff.
And that leads us into the new God of War.
Mm-hmm.
He does some things after that, but what you need to know is the dude who went through all of that shit is standing on this boat. So, do you want to stick around, Vader, or because I know you don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, I really don't, because
Like
for one,
I'm not
very much enjoy playing certain games blind.
I'm not gonna spoil the game, but I am gonna be talking about it a bit. So if you want nothing, you might want to go ahead and dip. It's up to you.
It's tempting to stick around.
Feel free. So, Kratos goes. Jekyll says, without a fucking scar, my god. Oh no! Oh no, you can see it on this image, and you can see it in the game even more. He is covered in scars, and where he put got the sword through his chest, you can see the scar in this image. There's a vertical scar right below the strap of his armor where the sword went through him. You can see it right there.
I mean, he had been stabbed with the sword there twice.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So, Kratos, we know, he goes to Midgard. He goes north to Scandinavia, to mythological Scandinavia. Greece is still fucked, mind you. He goes north and he meets a woman named Freya. That is all I'm going to say about Freya. If you know who Freya is, shush. Kratos and Freya get married, or at least it's assumed they get married. They're living together. And they're living in a cabin in the woods, and Freya gives birth to Atreus. Or she gives birth to a child, and Kratos names him Atreus. I looked this up because one thing that happens late in the game, this is not a plot spoiler, Vader, is
Nice.
Boy says, "Why did you name me Atreus?" And Kratos says, "Atreus was a hero of Sparta." So I looked this shit up. No! Mm-mm. And they're taking some serious liberties with this. Atreus is a king. Atreus is, as far as I can tell, not Spartan at all. He's the king of Mycenae. And he's fucked up. I looked this up. The actual Encyclopedia Britannica entry for Atreus is, quote, "The story of his family, the House of Atreus, is virtually unrivaled in antiquity for complexity and corruption." Which makes really good sense because of the shit that Kratos has done. That's really subtle, and I like that a lot. So, basically, what Atreus, King of Mycenae, is known for is killing everyone. Sound like someone we know? Like, he killed most of his own family. He killed Thyestes. He killed all of Thyestes' house. He killed Agamemnon and Menelaus, which were his sons. He killed so many people. I don't think he killed Agamemnon, actually, but he killed a bunch of people. And, like, that's basically his thing, is he was king of Mycenae, and he just killed everybody. So, it echoes Kratos, right? But Atreus, this boy, is raised by Kratos and Freya. Mostly Freya. How Kratos got to Midgard is not clear. What happened to Midgard when Greece exploded is not clear, but we know a lot of things happened. We just don't know how they're related. And I'll talk about that when we actually play the game. What we do know about Midgard is about 2,000 years of oral tradition, and I will try to touch on the relevant bits now. Bear with me, this is going to take a minute. So, the Norse mythology starts with Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is the world's tree. Everything that exists is on Yggdrasil. It's a big-ass tree that exists in, like, a metaphysical state, not on Earth. Yggdrasil is everywhere and everything. On the branches of Yggdrasil are the 9 realms. Okay, get a pen. Asgard, Alfheim, Niflheim, Midgard, Jotunheim, Vanaheim, Niflheim, Muspelheim, and Helheim. Fuck. Asgard, land of the gods. It's basically Mount Olympus, except cosmic. It exists in space, in the stars. It is where Odin the Allfather holds council. We'll get to that. Alfheim, the lands of light, the lands of the elves, the lands of the war between day and night. The land of the Fae, the land of mysticism. We'll get to that. Niovilir, I can never say this one correctly. Niovilir, there it is the land of the dwarves. Underground, stone, forge work, creations that span the world. Or span all of time. The land of master craftsmen. What's up, Vader?
Nothing. I just got up to go to the restroom real quick.
Midgard is our plane, Earth. It is where we sustain ourselves. It is where the mortals strive to live. Jotunheim, land of the giants, frost and otherwise. A land of high peaks and, grand structures. Much like Midgard, but less liked by the Allfather. Vanaheim. This one is interesting. Vanaheim is much like Asgard in that there are 2 distinct pantheons in Norse mythology. The Aesir, Thor, Odin, whoever else, we'll talk about the main players in a minute, and the Vanir, Freya, Frigga. The Vanir and Vanaheim is more magic focused. It's more mentalism. It's the great libraries and the thinkers, whereas Asgard is the warriors and the soldiers and the strength of battle and arms. Sparta versus Athens, really. It's a really good parallel. We have Niflheim, the land of fog and mystery. Niflheim is the home of very, it's very aqueous, but it's also very shadowy. It's murky. And I don't want to touch too much on Niflheim, because Niflheim is in the game. Muspelheim, the fire realm, land of heat and eternal summer, of life, but a strange form of life. And again, I don't want to touch on Muspelheim too much. And Helheim, the land of the dead, the place of eternal cold, so cold, in fact, that it will kill even a god. It is the land where no fire can be brought about. Helheim is the ultimate end that is not Valhalla. Anyone who does not die in battle is sent to Helheim. This includes the Aesir and Vanir. The Valkyries help guide the souls to Helheim. The city of Helheim is their final reward, again, if they're not in Valhalla. So those are the realms. Now, interestingly, all of these realms supposedly take place in the same space. So imagine a series of spheres. Each one has a different realm. So you have the globe that is Midgard, and you have the globe that is Muspelheim, or whatever. They're all in the same place. They're all overlaid on each other. Which is weird, and I can't really wrap my mind around it, but that's how Norse mythology works. And Yggdrasil connects all of them. Now, this is going to come into play a lot in the new God of War. But these realms, these places, these are all the same functional place, but with different aspects. Now, Freya, we know, was magical. In the very, very, very beginning of God of War, we see that she has done a lot of magical stuff to the cabin in the woods in Midgard that Freya, Atreus, and Kratos share. So there's that. Um, Odin, the Allfather, is probably the name most people know when it comes to Norse mythology. If you had to narrow it down to one person in Norse mythology, probably 60% of people would say Odin and 40% of people would say Thor. Odin is. It's hard for me to describe what Odin is because it's not as clearly defined as Thor, god of thunder and storms. Odin is like everything. He fills the role of Zeus, but he also fills the role of like mankind. Like Odin is everything. He sees all because he lost his eye. He knows all. He is omnipotent and omnipresent. He's just a big dude. He's also a bad dude. He fucks over the giants super hard, even in mythology. He's responsible for killing so many of the Vanir and the Aesir just out of petty vengeance or out of something they're going to do in the future that he needs to prevent. Odin can be depicted as very, very good or very, very bad depending on the depiction of, Norse oral history. Thor is the champion of the gods. Thor is Hercules, basically, but he's more than that. He is... In modern tellings of Norse mythology, Thor kind of takes the place of Tyr. Tyr is the hero character. Tyr is the one that people are thinking about when they think of modern interpretations of Thor, which is kind of weird. But Tyr is... We'll talk about Tyr in the actual game. I don't want to spoil too much. But Thor is mostly... He's not the champion of mankind. He's the champion of Asgard. He is Odin's right hand. He is... It's hard to explain what Thor is. It's hard for me to explain what the Norse pantheon is because I'm struggling with it a little bit myself. Current events in God of War are sort of the prelude to Ragnarok, but not quite. What we know for sure about God of War in the beginning, going into this game, we know Odin and Thor are somewhere doing their thing, but their actions are rippling through Midgard. We know that Mjolnir, Thor's mighty hammer, has been created and is in his possession. We know that the winters are growing longer, but that doesn't necessarily mean Ragnarok is coming. For those of you who don't know, Ragnarok is basically Armageddon. Same thing. Other than that, we know that Kratos is involved in a lot of Norse stuff, simply by the fact that he's married to Freya. So, names that you're going to see come up in the new God of War. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. There are people... Everyone you meet in the new God of War is relevant in Nordic mythology. There's nobody that was created, as far as I can tell, for the game. However, some of them are repurposed. For example, There is this is something that I need to stress on because I'll probably forget during the game. There is a Norse god named Balder. Balder is a fighter and an explorer. Balder is immortal, like literally. Like nothing can hurt Balder. Balder's mother is Frigga. Frigg or Frigga, depending on how the pronunciation falls. Frigga is wife to Odin. This is rewritten for the game because most people don't know Frigga. They used a goddess who is more well known than Frigga. But luckily, she is Frigga's twin sister, so it's fine. There that is. Just it irks me that it's inaccurate. Who they say is Baldur's mother in the new God of War is not Baldur's mother. So there that is. And the rest of the game, the rest of the new God of War, is learning about what's going on in the Nine Realms as it relates to Kratos, Freya, and Atreus. So you're going to see a lot of talk of realm shifting, of the Bifrost, which is the connecting light of the various realms, of Alfheim specifically, that is used to traverse the realms on the branches of Yggdrasil. You're going to see a bunch of stuff about Mjolnir, about the creation of Mjolnir. Now, Mjolnir has a twin. Thank you, Foolish Red Eyes, for this information. Mjolnir has a twin, which is a weapon that I cannot fucking pronounce. In some iterations, it's a stave. In some iterations, it's a sword. In some iterations, it's another hammer. And in the new God of War, it's an axe. So, just really quick, the axe that Kratos is carrying, the axe that was originally belonging to Freya, pardon me, not Freya, Thea, is the twin of Mjolnir. So, there that is. That is pretty much all I'm willing to discuss about the new God of War, because much like Horizon, you want to... The point of the game is to learn about the game as you go. I really wish I would stop dropping all of the frames. Is it the same axe that Thor uses in the Avengers? I don't know. I do not know. So. My OBS is fucking dying, and it's pissing me off.
You were cutting out a bit on my end as well.
Yeah, my internet connection is dying, so sorry about that, guys. No, it's on everybody's end, Gracie. Sorry about that. So that is that for now. Excuse me. So let's take some Greek and Norse questions. If we touched on something that wasn't clear enough for you guys or whatever, if there's anything about the game going forward that you guys, want an answer to, and if you're trying to be cheeky and spoil the game with this question, note that my keepers are keeping an eye on chat. But I am more than happy to answer questions. And I do like to do a little bit of a Q&A at the end. I don't want to go over too much of the new God of War. So. And if nobody has any questions, that's cool.
I've never been one for questions much myself.
You also don't want to be spoiled, so.
That is true.
Jackal says, I'm happy they try and be respectful of the North Pantheon. Yeah, that is something I will say, is the new God of War is much more respectful to Norse mythology than the original God of War was to Greek mythology. The new God of War and Greek mythology kind of have a love-hate relationship, so. Foolish Red Eyes says, I have a question, when did he get the axe? A matter of days or weeks before the beginning of the game. He hasn't had it long. He's had it long enough to get a feel for it and to be able to use it, but he has not had it for a significant amount of time. Brightwind says, I might have just lost track because Kratos lost and regained his godhood multiple times. Yes. Is he mortal at the start of this game? That's a dubious question. The gods can age. He can die. You can die in the new God of War. And it's a failure state. It's a game over state of the game. But he is, I believe, a god at the beginning of the game. Yes.
At the very least, a demigod, since he is still the son of Zeus.
Yes. He's adopted but unlearned, says Jackal. Not necessarily true. If there's one thing he knows how to do, it's be the god of war. But I believe at the start of the game, he is a god. McDermott says, is he mortal canonically or just mortal because video game? He's mortal. Excuse me. He's mortal in the sense that his, excuse me, world-crushing, Titan-imbued, God of War-imbued powers are gone. But, excuse me, he's still strong enough to fight legendary monsters. So, both. He can be killed by said legendary monsters, but he has an advantage over, he has a significant advantage over a regular dude. A regular dude can kill him if they get really, 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 really lucky. But generally speaking, it would take somebody kind of big and stompy to take out Kratos. Hopefully that answers the question. Brett Winnick says, good to know, was curious because I lost track. No worries.
Don't worry. I literally think Hades, the place, has a revolving door just for Kratos.
Oh, yeah. So, tomorrow, we will be jumping into the new God of War. There are a couple of things that I want to touch on really quick. First of all, you guys might have noticed that there's more of a delay in chat than there used to be. That is because there are some pretty significant spoilers in this game that are super cool if they don't get spoiled. So, chat's going to be stricter for this playthrough. And I upped the delay so that the keepers can make absolutely certain that nobody's good time is ruined because people are assholes. If you're a regular to the stream, don't be the reason we can't have nice things. Just don't do it. Because you will be subject to the same rules. Brad Nick says, if this is a super spoiler, don't answer, but do we know who Mama Boy is? Fea. She is a woman named Fea. And that is all I'm going to say. If you know who Fea is, then you know who Fea is. If you don't know who Fea is, look it up after the game. Look it up after the game, not after the show. There's a couple of really, really subtle things. Shockingly subtle for these devs in the new God of War. If you know who Fea is, if you know why one of the characters addresses Kratos the way that character addresses Kratos, and if you know the history of one of the other characters, then you know the big spoiler at the end of the game. I only learned about one of the really subtle ones yesterday. Um, there's a character who addresses Kratos a very specific way, and if you look into who he is, pardon me, who they are, um, it spoils the end of the game, but it's really well done. So I like it a lot. McDerpy Ninja says Faya or Freya, Faya or Faye, Faya or Faye, depending. Not Freya, goddess of the wild, not her. Faya. Brian Windink says, from Greek mythology standpoint, I do, but that's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. What? Brightman says, I'm almost to my second reward. The coffee was nice, but I'm getting a free back massage and 2 more punches. What are you talking about? Oh, the fucking Kratos going to Hades repeatedly? Yeah. Also, this is purely for my own amusement. I don't normally do this type of thing, but as many of you know, Kratos tends to not address his son as son or Atreus. Pretty much unilaterally, when he wants to address Atreus, he says, boy. So, I want to know how many times he says boy. So, I have a counter that I will be running for the God of War playthrough because I want to know. You can check the current count by typing !boy in chat, and I and all of the keepers can increase the boy count whenever Kratos says boy. Because I want to see how many times he says boy by the end of the game. And I want to see if we can break 500. Jackal says, is there a reason? Because I want to know. Brent Winding says, Kratos uttered a single word and the internet exploded. True. So, I want to see. So if nobody else has any other questions, and my nose will clear up so that I can talk, I think that's going to be it for setting the stage for God of War. So, if you have any questions, jump in now while I'm wrapping this up. Vader, thank you for helping out.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to switch over. I'm going to switch the stream title over. I'm going to switch some of the graphics over. And I want to talk to you guys about some stuff that I have planned for the channel. I want to just check in, have a fireside chat, answer any questions you guys might have about the channel, and let you know about some of the stuff that I have coming forward. Because I feel like I haven't really been focusing on what this channel is about recently, and I want to get back to that, as well as, improve on some things. So, Derpy just says, are we counting every boy or just the scripted cutscene times? Because I think some of the generic combat dialogue includes boy. We're including all of it. Every time Kratos says boy, I want to increase the count. So, Brightwind says, Vader is best Vader. True. Vader is best Vader. So I am going to go ahead and wish Vader a good day. Vader, have a good day.
You too, Kit. Thanks for having me.
Yep. And I'm going to jump off this, and I'm going to switch over here, and I'm going to go over here to the stream title. I'm going to change the stream title to a fireside chat. And I'm going to put on some music. Let's do this. And let's just talk for a minute. So, this is a channel devoted to lore and storytelling. And depending on the game, that's more or less prevalent. And I definitely want to spend more time focusing on that. And I'm definitely going to be focusing on that with the new God of War. Talking about Norse mythology, talking about the greater story of God of War as it's revealed. Things like that. But there were some things that are lacking on the channel. There's some art that needs freshening up. My Twitter needs a banner. The panels underneath the stream could use some love. But the quality of the show could also increase a bit. And I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. But I definitely want to do that moving forward. Birchmila says, Finn just tried to lie down on my chest while sitting up. That's adorable. Today, I want to let you guys know that my plan is to do more tabletop role-playing games, more decisive action stuff, as soon as possible. I'm looking for a GM. I'm looking to get some games going, because I miss that stuff. And while it's not as popular on the channel as some of my other content, it's something that I enjoy, and it's something that I want to make more prevalent on this channel, and I hope that you guys don't mind. I've put up a couple of polls about it, and they've been shockingly negative. So I hope that you guys are at least willing to give it a shot. There's a podcast regarding tabletop role-playing games that Red and I are working to put together. Foolish Red Eyes is my community manager. She is the bridge between me and you guys, as well as my right hand when it comes to anything that needs getting done. But Red and I want to do a tabletop role-playing game podcast where we showcase various systems, talk about various systems, talk about ideas, things like that, and generally just be super nerds. I want that for this community. And the fact is, some people who watch this show don't want that. And changes to the community, changes to the content, are going to hurt my numbers. They're going to hurt the quality of the show. They're going to hurt the audience. And I'm dreading that. But I've been watching a lot of D&D and D&D prep streams recently. And I've seen chat, throw out fantastic lore ideas. I've seen chat offer, consistency ideas and continuity. And I want that. The GM Notebook is awesome, but I want people to be like, hey, you said that the House of the Lotus focuses on drugs, and yet there's this new drug called Bliss on the market, and they're not factoring in. Like, wouldn't they be wanting a large share of that? Like, I want to have those discussions. I want to be able to do more tabletop role-playing stuff on the channel. But I'm concerned. So that's where my head is with that. I've asked you guys repeatedly if you want that stuff. I'm not going to ask you again. But I'm going to be doing some of that moving forward, and I'm going to just eat the losses. So there that is. I don't have a date for the start of that podcast yet. But it's something that I'm working on. And it's something that I want to do for you guys. More decisive action is coming. I just need to find a GM. I need to find a GM who can put out the kind of show that I want them to put out. And who's not going to be terribly busy. But I'm itching to get into more. And I may not even necessarily be on the show. I might just produce it, but I want more of that content on my channel, so we'll see moving forward. Brett Nick says, the only way you'll know how that stuff will turn out is if you try it. True. True. I want to solidify our brand. I want to solidify the Masquerade. The panels below the stream are very good, but they were created before I had a solid idea of what I wanted this community to be about. And I think changing some stuff to fit our branding would be better. I'm looking to get a new intro and outro screen. I love these candles, and I don't know how much of this I'm going to change, but I'm going to change something. I'm gonna change the panels. I'm gonna do everything I can to make this channel about the Masquerade, about being able to be who you want to be, about wearing whatever face you want, slipping into whatever role you want, telling these stories. You know, all the world's a stage and all the people are the players. Like, that's what I want to bring to the forefront. And the Masquerade, I think, is a really good way to push that in an interesting way. So, gonna be doing some, not rebranding soon, because you guys know that that's what this is about. But it's not representative at a glance yet. And so I really want to work on that. I'm working with some artists for some stuff for the court, for some stuff below the stream, and so on and so forth. But that stuff costs money, and money takes time to earn, so that's where that is. Brian Wendick says, if I can get a good computer, I have a good D&D idea for my own art, but I don't know if it's morally right to talk about that here, per se. Yeah, let's hold off on that for now, Brightwind. So those are some of the stuff that I have moving forward. You're going to see some new art. You're going to see some more decisive action stuff, maybe a podcast, maybe two, depending. I still want to do, video game-based content. I still want to do story playthroughs of games. That's something that I enjoy as well. But if I can do at least a 60-40 split on the channel, that's the ultimate goal. Now, that might be a year down the road or 2 years down the road, but that's my goal. Stream every day, at least 4 days a week, do decisive action stuff, and go from there. That's what I want, but that's a long time coming. As far as games go on the channel, looking for God of War, possibly Nier Automata at some point, with an STS for Nier, possibly a couple of indie games. I'm still prepping for Arttober. Arttober is coming. I'm gonna get as much artistic games as I can for that. Possibly Manhunt on the channel. We'll see. A lot of stuff moving forward. But right now I'm looking to solidify the brand and focus on putting out the best show that I can for you guys. Jackal says, ever consider a fundraising stream to speed things up? Every stream I do is a fundraising stream, Jackal. This is my job. If people think that what I do is worth a subscription, or if what I do is worth a tip, then great. I'm a busker. I've got my hat out every day. A fundraising stream feels gross. Like, it's like, hey, give me money so I can keep doing that. That's what I do every day. Like, doing something specific where I bring the money to the forefront is not what I want to do as a person. This is my job. If you guys think that I am doing something that is worth paying for, and you can, obviously food and rent and medical stuff comes first, but if you like what I do and you want to throw money at me for what I do, Thank you. That's how I get paid. I appreciate it. It's a huge help. Subs, you know I love you. But unless I'm doing a fundraising stream for charity, I'm not willing to do a fundraising stream for myself. Because that's what I do anyway. And I don't. If you come in here to watch my show and just hang out, cool. I want you to have that entertainment. If you can't sub, as I can't with a lot of streamers, I don't want you to be annoyed if I'm constantly saying, "Hey, by the way, you should sub to me." That's just, it's not me. It's not this channel, and it's not me as a person. So I'm kind of against it. If you want to do it, if one wants to do that, that's cool. More power to you. But not for me. So that's the stuff coming forward. Does anybody, newcomer or regular alike, have any questions for me about the stream, about me as a person, about the community, about plans or practices or policies? I am willing to answer those questions. It's been a bit since I've done a Q&A. It's been a bit since I've, been here and been like, hey, are you guys happy with how I'm doing things? If you guys have any suggestions or concerns that I haven't just mentioned and been like, hey, I know this is a problem, I'm going to be working on it. Now is the time to speak up. It's not that your voice won't be heard otherwise, but now you have my full attention. And I'm happy to answer any questions or address any concerns that you have. Whatever those may be. And if you don't have any, cool. I'll give Chad a minute to catch up. Birchman says, did you acquire noms yet today? No, I have not, but I haven't been awake very long. This was going to be a short stream anyway, Gracie. So when I wrap, I was going to go get food. If I eat right now, I've only been up a couple of hours, I'll get sick. So I do appreciate the daily reminder, though. Brett Winnick says, just a small nitpick thing, I suppose. Schedule a bit below stream. Could use an update text-wise. I'm aware. Yep. When I update the banners, which I will be doing probably this week, with more on-brand stuff, I'll be going over all of that text and fixing it. I'm aware the schedule's not accurate. I'm on it. Also, I just realized this is the Critical Role song. I never noticed that this is the Critical Role song. This is from Morrowind, I think. Huh. Anyway, moving on. So, if you're new around here and you're just tuning in, like, your questions are just as important. If you want to ask me, what my favorite food is, or if you want to ask me, like, why in the fuck I'm doing this, it's the old. It's the old intro song, I think. Oh, you mean what song is playing? I have no fucking idea. It's on a big it's on a big YouTube video of a bunch of different songs in it. It's not marked which one it is. So. But yeah, if you're new around here and you want to ask me some questions, like, feel free. Like, this is the time to ask me whatever. And I realize that I haven't really been as open with you guys as I would necessarily want to be in some cases. if you have any suggestions for the stream. Even if you're new around here, your voice matters. So if you see what I do... Now, mind you, if your suggestion is, don't bother with story-based games, play Fortnite, I'm going to say, thank you for your opinion. There are several great Fortnite streamers that you can enjoy. But if you say something like, hey, have you considered playing Tokyo Jungle? It's got an interesting story. I will say, yes, I have, but I'm not sure. But if you say, hey, here's an idea for a story thing, there's a really cheap X piece of equipment that you can use for creating music or creating voiceovers or whatever, like, that's also, like, helpful. And if you just have, like, trivial questions that you want to ask me as well, like, why in the fuck are you wasting your time on Twitch? My answer will be because I love performing. But regardless, like, don't hesitate to bring up a question. Just try not to be an asshole about it. Also, Jackal, I didn't realize you were a higher tier sub. You get a text intro, dude. If you can use that emote, that means you're at the $10 sub tier. You get a text intro when you come into chat. I don't know how long you've been at that tier, but, you know, like, I'll set your text intro right now, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and say this on stream because it's been bugging me for the last several days. When we finished Battletech on Saturday, we wrapped the stream 6 hours early, and I knew that Sunday and today were going to be off-schedule short streams. But when we wrapped on Saturday, it was the biggest day we've ever had on the channel. Ever. I looked at my viewer list after I turned off the stream, and the numbers were staggering. McDermott just says you were on Saturday for a few hours just to finish the main story of Battletech, and that was it. I stream every day, Derpy. Which is great, but I knew it was the last day of Battletech. I knew I was leaving, excuse me, money on the table. And I've been kind of fucked about that since then. But hopefully we'll get there again. And I want to thank everybody who did stick around after the Battletech playthrough, who is here today and is looking forward to God of War in the future. Hopefully we can keep the channel growing. That's the goal. Birchmila says, how long is the text intro, by the way? I haven't put a limit on it yet. Generally speaking, 1 or 2 sentences would be advisable. McDerpper Ninja says, I missed you all weekend. Thought you hadn't gone live or anything. Nope, I went live on Saturday to a really big show. Sunday, I did not stream because the GM for Powder Keg was not feeling well. And it was Mother's Day. Sunday is my half day. I take the afternoon off, I sleep in, get some rest. And then Sunday evenings, I come back for a Blades in the Dark campaign called Powder Keg. It's a tabletop role-playing game that we play. And then today, I was going to do setting the stage for God of War and this fireside chat. And then in like 3 hours, I have to go and do a meeting, and then we would be back to full normal streams tomorrow with God of War. So that's the plan moving forward. I want to put on the best show that I can for you guys. If one person is enjoying themselves immensely, then I have to let that be enough. But it's hard not comparing myself to other streamers, not getting frustrated at the bad days or the good days. Not getting frustrated at my own ability. You guys keep me grounded, and I appreciate that. I just wish I could do better. For you, not for myself, not out of pride or vanity, but just... life is hard. The day-to-day grind sucks. And all I have wanted since I was a child was to improve that. Making people smile is second only to having a well-stocked pantry. I'm not as warm as I could be to people when they come in, and I'm working on that. I'm not overly positive, which I am continually told that I need to be as a streamer. But I keep, asking you guys, like, what can I do to be better? And I keep trying to apply it, so I'm going to keep asking. What criticisms do you have? What concerns do you have? What suggestions can you raise? What questions do you have? How can I put on the best show possible for you guys every day? Because if I can do that, then I can say that I've done enough. Or am doing enough, I should say. With the caveat that I always seek to improve. I want the channel to get bigger, of course I do. It's my job. But I don't want to lose the soul of the channel. I don't want to lose the heart of the masquerade when it does. If it does. Pardon me. Shout out to the keepers. If things continue as projected, I'm gonna need you guys every day. But if nobody has any questions, I've basically outlined everything I want to outline. So I'm gonna have to wrap up soon. If nobody has anything they want to bring up. Triska says, the fact that you work so hard shows the dedication you have for this, to performing, to always working to make the show better. For some of us, like myself, that's enough. You are very, very hard on yourself sometimes, though. Even and especially when you shouldn't be. We worry about you, but it's why we're here. We support you. You're here because you worry about me? Because that's not the image that I want. The reason that I'm hard on myself, Trescare, is because I have seen not the worst, that's not fair. I have seen what's common of day-to-day interactions with people. And I guess the self-deprecation is a survival mechanism. You're right, I am hard on myself, that's true. But I'm also fragile. If somebody... Keepers, you know what I'm about to say, and I'm gonna say it carefully. If someone comes in here behaving as they would in some other streams, there is a chance greater than 0 that it will debilitate me, that it will send me to the hospital, and I'm not exaggerating. And I guess my self-deprecation is a misguided attempt to toughen myself up so that doesn't happen. I've had people say to my face, you need to quit fucking streaming if it's that bad. You need to get out of this profession because fuck you. And I'm not willing to do that. I love this. I love my job. I love performing. I love putting on a show for you guys. But I guess if I keep myself low, if I keep myself humble and melancholy, somewhere in the back of my mind, maybe I think it'll be easier if somebody else tries to take me to that point. I won't fall as far. I don't know. Probably, almost certainly incorrect. But there that is. I hope that answers the unspoken question, by the way. And if it doesn't, let me know. Brentwin Dink says, with upcoming changes in my life, I can't guarantee that I'll be here 24/7, but when I am here, you have my support 110%, and I appreciate it, Brightwind. Birchmila says, I doubt it was get out of this profession because fuck you. Probably more like get out of this profession because I don't want you in the hospital because some idiot because of some idiot with an internet connection. Oh no, Gracie. It was get out of this profession, fuck you. Like, the people that I was mentioning in that regard very much were like, you know, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna be an asshole about it, and if you don't want to go to the hospital, then get out of here because you're a shit. Like, no, it was absolutely aggressive. 100%. Tresco says, you rely on us, Kit. We keepers are here for just that reason. You focus on the show. We're here to keep things civil and stable, and I appreciate it. Brightman says, agreed. We will handle our roles to the best of our abilities as you will with yours. Shout out to the best mods on Twitch. But I was mostly saying all of that to explain why I'm so hard on myself. About 1 in every 3 people who comes into the channel comments on my rules. Almost everyone who does ends up getting timed out for one thing or another. That was a jet. Sorry about that, guys. almost everyone who... That jet's gonna come back in a second, by the way. Almost everyone who gets timed out doesn't come back, because why would they? Yeah, it's a very loud jet. It's gonna come back in a second. And I've considered, you know, making my rules more lax. But I just don't want to deal with the shit. McDermott Ninja says, why would I come back? I mean, probably because you like getting a rise out of me, Derpy, which is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. I've asked if you guys think that I'm too strict. And the answer that I got was no. I am strict, but I'm not too strict. I create a very specific type of atmosphere, and it's something that a lot of people take issue with because they can't, in my opinion, run roughshod over other people. A lot of people like to do that. And I would rather they run roughshod over me than my community. But Derpy Ninja says, I come back because you're a great streamer and a great guy. Well, thank you for the compliment, Derpy. I appreciate it. My viewer retention is one of the stats that I'm most proud of. If I can get people to sit through a couple of hours of the show, usually they'll come back for a second one. Those of you who watch the show every day, lurkers included, you guys are the reason that I do this. But I'm gonna be blunt. I'm afraid of the channel growing. I am afraid of playing a really popular game. I'm fucking afraid of playing God of War. Let me just throw that out. I am terrified of tomorrow because I've been in a few God of War streams, and the chat is problematic. Let's be diplomatic, Kitsune. I know for a fact that there will be people who come in tomorrow and are just like, Snape kills Dumbledore, Kappa, and it's just gonna be like, do you fucking mind? In before Derpy posts that, by the way. And there's gonna be people who are even worse than that. I don't understand that culture. I don't understand the need to be powerful to the extent that you shit on other people. Which, by definition, I'm shitting on those people by saying that. But still, I'm scared, y'all. There hasn't been any game that I have been afraid to do on the channel more than God of War. I see a bunch of keepers in chat saying, like, they'll take care of it. I appreciate that. But when I'm confronted with a problem, I try to figure it out, and I can't figure that out. I can't fathom it. Which makes it seem insurmountable. But enough bitching. McDurpin Ninja says, you know how hard it was to resist? You don't know how hard it was to resist posting a BS God of War spoiler earlier when you were mentioning that at first. I mean, okay, fine. You brought it up, Derpy. I'm gonna put the spotlight on you. Why? Why? Why is that even something that you consider? Why is that even something that you think about? Why is upsetting people funny to you? That's not a condemnation. That is a legitimate question. McDurpin Ninja says, so what chat delay are we talking about? Can't post faster than 30 seconds, takes 10 seconds to actually post. The mods will see a post before everyone else does, and they will act accordingly on said post if something happens. They're on the lookout for very specific things. McDurpin Ninja says, because it's funny to poke fun at the people who post actual spoilers. Why? It's not meant to upset you. It's meant to jest at the assholes who post real spoilers. It's... What I am about to say is an opinion. What I am about to say is my opinion. It is not grounded in fact. It is something that I feel. It is not necessarily logical. What I'm about to say is my own voice. When one gives acquiescence and clearance to demonstratively negative behavior, it does nothing but encourage that behavior. If one focuses on the perpetrator of a crime over the victims of that crime, it makes other perpetrators of that crime want the attention, even if the attention is negative. If you want to poke fun at somebody being a bad thing, it is giving attention to people who want that attention, even if that attention is negative. And as such, it's encouraging that behavior. So I don't understand why to do it. JourneymanVadr says, in my experience, fake spoilers are as bad as real ones. Who's to know which ones are fake and which ones aren't? Exactly. Although my point was a bit broader than just spoilers. I have trouble grasping why negative behavior in any sense would be rewarded. But it's true across the board. If you're an asshole, you get further in life. Like, that by definition. Like, take care at work, Vader. Have a great day. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you for helping out. Obvious to you, maybe, Derpy, but even still, like... I don't know. I guess I'm one of those people who don't understand short-term gratification. There are people who have said to me, it's funny at the time, and then I go, yeah, but then you piss everybody else off in the room. And they go, yeah, but it was funny at the time, and I'm just like, you're speaking Mandarin right now. I don't understand. I don't get it. And I wish that I did. I would probably be happier if I did. Anyway, let's get back to the channel at large. If anybody has any questions or comments or concerns, do speak up. Jessica says, and then the defense is you can't take a joke, which is bullshit. Someone in chat right now used that defense, and I almost banned them. And I decided to give them a chance. And I don't regret it. I really wish my internet would behave. My internet is being a shit today. Alright, guys. Well. McJumper Ninja says, Me? Me? Is it me? Do you want me to say that it's you? Whether or not it is or not, do you want me to say that it's you? Anyway. If nobody has anything else they want to say, that's gonna be it for the stream. I'm going to set up for God of War tomorrow. I just wanted to let you guys know what the plan for the channel was moving forward, as well as set the stage for God of War so that people were, you know, ready for what was coming next. But if people are good, then I'm good as well. And I'm going to go and get ready for the next thing. Tomorrow, at 1 p.m. EDT, I will be back with God of War and our regular stream schedule. For now, due to a short stream, I'm not going to do a full outro. I tend not to do a full outro if I'm not doing a full-length stream. I don't think it's fair. So I'm just going to head out. But I'm going to be hosting someone. And I do hope that you all will come along with me for said host. You might find your new favorite streamer. Trisco says, the SCS was awesome and this chat was informative. Thanks, Kit. Glad to do it, Trisco. For now, I want you all to remember, through the good times and the bad, there's always more stories to tell. And hopefully, you'll come along with me moving forward. For God of War, whatever comes after, and a new chapter. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you for stopping by.